Just take a moment to get really comfortable. What we could do initially is tuning into the moon. Right now, you may be in a place where it's daylight, so the moon isn't quite visible to you. So let's imagine it's getting night, and you can see the tiny sliver of the moon. And as you're looking at that moon, you suddenly realize that this is the same sky that people have looked at for hundreds, for thousands, for 10,000s, for 100,000s of years. As long as humans have existed, they have looked at the moon. And as long as humans will exist on this earth, they will look at the moon. So, as you're tuning into this, you might notice how humans looked at this in all these settings. And some of them may be your ancestors, even. Now, if we zoom into the different direction from the past, right over into the future, I'd see the children of the children of the children that are currently on Earth looking again at the moon. So, what we have here is a continuity that is very different from more linear systems. And we also have the present, the place where the past and the future converge. And as you're standing in the moment, in the present moment, take a moment to reflect on this last lunar cycle, the last 29.5 days. And if you have your paper nearby, you might like to start writing down appreciation for what happened during that time, for what you did, how you showed up. It doesn't always have to be something big. It can even just be like, hey, I'm proud that I stayed calm in that one situation, or I'm proud that while I didn't stay calm, I returned to center. So just, taking a minute or two to really reflect on how this last month has been for you. So I'll give you time to do that right now. Yeah, and if there's anything that you want to share about that, if not, let's move on right to the next part. So, once again, imagine that you're finding yourself under a night sky. It's a really comfortable weather. So, you're wearing a t shirt that you really like, and whatever else, whatever pants or skirt or shorts you like to wear. And as you're walking around, you're noticing that suddenly things keep on falling from the sky. A bit confusing, but you get the sense that these are good things. And so you use your t shirt to try and catch one of those. And within a mere second of you making that decision, you notice something landing within your t-shirt that you've started to turn out a bit to use as a catching mechanism. And as you're looking at what you just caught, you realize that it's a really beautiful seed. And this seed is actually a representation of your intention for the next lunar cycle, or the intention that would be the most beneficial for you. So take a moment and maybe grab that seed if you like, and see if there are any insights that you're getting. For instance, does the intention feel more nourishing or more active? Is it more relational or more focused on yourself? And just use your intuition to start gathering some data. And now, if you like, if you find that this intention is really what you would like to grow during the next lunar cycle, you could decide to plant the seed. And if it's not quite the right intention for you, then you might once again see if you catch another one. Or if you even want to create your own. Imagine like creating your perfect seed. As you're doing that, you can take into account what you wrote down about the last month and how it went. You can take into account what went well, what didn't go so well. You can take into account what you feel is currently most missing for you. And out of all those materials, and maybe with a seed that you caught out of the air, you create your custom intention. You can make it as beautiful as you want, playing around with colors, shapes. Till this intention feels wonderful and nourishing and amazing for you. And it's okay if at this stage it's more symbolic and you haven't yet put it into words. We can do that in the more logical stage afterwards. So, right now, we're just playing with your subconscious and wanting to make sure that whatever you're holding in your hands right now that's symbolizing your intention feels really wonderful to you. So, make any last changes that you might have to make with this. And if you like, you can now find a spot to plant the seed. You can walk around a bit until you find the perfect spot that has just the right ingredients to nurture, to nourish, to grow your intention. And when you're ready, just put it into the ground and cover it with earth that's protecting it, shielding it, until the seed has time to break through. And if you want to nourish the seed during the next upcoming cycle, you can think of it and send your energy to it. And imagining nourishing it. And maybe in your mind's eye, you can already see how the seed can grow during the next cycle through the full moon, and how during the next new moon, you might plant another seed right next to this one. For you have now created a little gardening lot for all your new moon intentions that you can add to any time you want. Anytime you like, you can just go back and plant a new seed. And over time, this can turn into a beautiful row with all these different intentions flowering next to each other. For all of these intentions can stand right next to each other. If this month you're focusing on having harmonious relationships, and then maybe next month you focus on enjoyment in your work, and then the month afterwards you focus on vitality, all of these can build on each other so that over time, this process can really help you improve your life even further from where it is today. And all of them, again, can build on each other. And if you like, there's a jar of water nearby. You can take that and water your seed for a moment. And then sit down next to your plot, and take a moment to think in more practical terms of how you would like this new month to show up. And at this stage, if you like, you can open your eyes again and grab your pen and paper and just write out your dreams and aspirations for the next month and write about it as if it's already happening, really invoking it, invoking this change. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that. And as you're doing that, it's really wonderful to also focus on the feelings that you want to have. So, one thing that differentiates intentions from goals is that intentions are, in a way, more about you and what you can influence. So, an intention could be, I am showing up for my purpose. And that's something that's very much in your control. And if subsequent feeling would be, I'm feeling really fulfilled. And that's much more easy to stick with, even in the middle of a lot of changes. It doesn't matter what happens, you can always connect with that intention and that feeling, whereas the goal might fall apart if, things just change too much on the outside. And if we now go into the nitty-gritty and more into our left brain, you can now ask yourself what the most important thing is you could do or solve or maybe not do next month. And there's a really good question that's from a book that I like to quote. It's from the book The One Thing. And the question is, what's the one thing I could do during the next lunar cycle that would make everything else unnecessary or easier? Now, take a moment to think about actions or habits. So there are probably things you are doing right now that are great and that you want to continue doing. And maybe there are things that you're not doing, but that you would like to do. And there might also be things that you're doing that you would like to stop doing. So these are habits that we don't really like, that are not helpful for us. So begin writing down things that you would like to start doing during the next 29.5 or so, probably 29 by now, days. And what are some things that you are already doing that you would like to continue doing? Maybe, you just started doing them, or maybe you've been doing them forever. But just something that works really well that you want to continue doing. Now, lastly, what are the things that you have been doing for a long time, or maybe just recently, that you would like to stop doing? And if you like, you can make this a lot easier by picking just one thing from the start doing list and just one thing from the stop doing list. Since you can, do this process every new month, you will have lots of other opportunities to start and stop doing other things. So it doesn't all have to happen right now. You can just pick one, focus on that for a month, and then add something else the next month. And now you can take a moment and go back to your intention. So typically an intention is, one sentence. And you can see if there's a way to tie all that you wrote into a statement. It could be that all the things that you've written down have to do with you feeling more free or feeling more focused. Maybe see if there's a way to tie all that together in a statement like, I intend to feel more free, or I intend to feel more appreciative. If you're having trouble with that, I'm happy to help you when we stop the recording. And if you feel happy with what you have your statement for the month. And if you like, you could write that out, put that somewhere where you can see it, and check in with the statement over the next month, seeing how it shifts and evolves. So it could be that after a few days, you notice, oh, I might want to tweak it a bit, or I might want to focus on some different things. So this is an evolving intention. It's not meant for you to be slavishly clinging on to it for the entire month. It can shift, it can change. But it's also meant for you as like a thread. That it gives you both some direction, but also flexibility. And if you like, you can already schedule in a time to check in with your intention around the full moon. So the new moon is really good for planting those seeds, and the full moon is great for releasing things. So it could be that, your intention is, I want to be more free. And during the full moon, you will then get clear on all the things that you want to release, that you want to let go of, to have that intention come more into fruition. So with that being said, I wish you a really happy new moon.